Last year, I wrote and self-published my debut novel. It wasn't terribly easy, but it was possible. It was doable. And I think anyone can do it, but it's tough to start. So here's how. Step 1, write the freaking book, bro. I wrote my first book, Graves, an urban fantasy, in November of 2020 for Novel November. It took me about 2 extra weeks, so 6 total weeks, and it ended at 49,000 words. I'll probably make an entire other video for my step-by-step process for writing a book, but here's one simple rule that I give everyone who ever asks me. Write it. I know that's an annoying tip, and everyone says it, but that's it. Write the book. Don't think about it. If you're trying to outline it, but you can't think of squat, just write it. Put words on paper. Even if they're the worst words you've ever seen in your fucking darn life. Write them. The plot might make no goddamn sense. The characters might suck ass. Don't care. That's what the second draft's for, okay? And keep writing until it's done. Rip and tear until it's done, right? That's what I do, right? And I wrote 4 first drafts and 2 final drafts last year. Keep to a schedule, too, no matter how small. I do 1,700 words a day, minimum, because that gets me 50K a month. But you can do as little as 100. Or as much as 10,000, whatever. Just make sure you're keeping to a schedule so you never fall off. The story doesn't leave your mind. You want to get it out there. Get it out of your mind. Put it on paper. Even if it feels like you use it as toilet paper, it's just all shit. It's out of your head. It's on paper. It's a block of marble that you have now set in front of you, and now you can chisel it and get it ready to look like how you want it. Step 2, give it some space. Give the first draft some space. Take a month, write something else, or just take a break. Then come back with fresh eyes, and step 3, read through it and make notes. As much as you'll want to edit and change entire paragraphs, I recommend going through and reading as you would if you're a regular reader. Make broad notes if you want, point out plot holes or weird character interactions or awkward scenes, whatever. But avoid doing little edits, because that's step 4, edit. Make the second draft. Go through again, fix whatever typos you find and make sure there's no plot holes, fix whatever wording you dislike, anything, whatever. This is your opportunity to make it a cohesive package. Make it make sense. Make a book that makes chronological sense and makes sense as a story. Even still, it won't be perfect yet. It cannot be. No matter what, it will not be. Because first you have to, step 5, give it to beta readers, okay? Now, you need an outside eye who's not afraid to give you some shit, tell you what sucks, find some typos, find some more plot holes, but also is not afraid to tell you what's cool. You know, that's important too. You need that confidence to make sure you're not wasting your time, that everything is terrible. I'm lucky enough to have a couple of good friends who read my garbage, no matter how garbage it is, okay? You know who you are. Mwah. But if you don't have that, you still have options, okay? There are a lot of subreddits or discords or wherever where you can find writers who need their drafts read and will read yours in turn, okay? This is a good way to meet other writers too and skewer into the writing community. If that fails, go on Fiverr. I hired a pair of beta readers for my first book for like $50 each, and they both did an amazing job. Totally worth every penny. Step 6, third draft. This is when you implement their criticism, okay? The ones you really agree with. Even if it involves rewriting half the book, don't let that stop you from listening to your beta readers, okay? If you really agree that they're like, this doesn't work, you need to rewrite it, and you look and you're like, you know, you're right. Don't let the effort scare you off. You want this book to work as well as it possibly can, even if you're unsure, okay? If you're like, maybe it would work, I don't know, do the writing, see if it works. If it doesn't, you know, that you didn't really waste the time, because now you see that. If you want to be confident that it's good. Step 7, alpha readers. These are the people who read it when it's very nearly the final draft. They read it like regular readers, not critics or workshoppers. They just read it and like, oh, this is what I liked. You know, they critique it in a broad sense, like I do when I review books. I'm just like, oh, I like this. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not trying to be a critic, really. I just say what I like and what I didn't. Step 8, fourth draft. Take whatever thoughts they had and rework what you need to, and there you go. Step 9, editing. So there are 3 types of editing you can pay for. 1, developmental editing. This is often the most expensive because the editor has to go through the whole draft, and essentially, as a professional, they're looking for plot holes, tonal inconsistencies, weird characters, scenes that just don't work or don't need to be there, that kind of thing. They're there to make this a really critically good book. The second type of editing is line editing. This is like examining the line by line prose and like making it read as well as possible. Not worrying about tone or anything like that, really. It's mainly, does this read like a cohesive sentence? Does it flow well? Do the paragraphs, are they split up well? Does the dialogue work? All that. 3, proofreading. This is what it says. Finding typos, incorrect spellings, incorrect grammar, all that. In my opinion, this is the only one of the 3 that is 100% necessary. You need your book looking clean, right? You don't want people to read and instead of saying, she looked beautiful, you say like she lolled beautifully, you know. It rips readers out of the story. And I see typos in a lot of professional books, and you know, once in a while it happens. There's a fucking 150,000 words. There's got to be a few that are wrong, you know. I'm sure that there's probably still a handful of typos in my book. No matter how fucking hard I try. Sometimes I'll reread it and I'll be like, oh, there's fucking this is one typo, and it just kills me, keeps me up at night, and I have to go change it in the manuscript and then put it back in. It sucks. This stage sucks because it's hard. Plus, your beta readers and your alpha readers do a lot of what the developmental editors do in the first place, you know? Not most of what they would do, certainly not all of what developmental editors would do, but still, they will find really bad plot holes. Proofreading is also the cheapest. It's still not cheap. I got my 62,000 word novel edited for $700. So, and that was about as cheap as I could find it. Depending on your book length, paying for editing, all 3 types of editing can stretch well into the thousands of dollars. That's why if you're like me and you could really only afford one, I say go with proofreading. No matter how many people you have read it, that draft's gonna need a professional eye to sift through the typos. But hey, if you can afford all 3, the more editing the better. I don't want to act like developmental editors or line editors aren't like crucial and like a great boon for your book, okay? But it's fucking expensive, and I understand that, but I think that proofreading is necessary at the very least. Step 10, final draft, baby. Implement the editor's notes, and this thing's fucking done. This is wrapped up with the bow, except step 11, formatting. This was by far the most annoying part for me, okay? Because I decided to do it myself, but you need that book looking pretty. You know, you need pages working, right? You need the chapter headings. You need all that shit. You need to format it differently for the paperback, the hardback if you have one, and the ebook. You can always pay someone, but even that's expensive. So it's not a no-brainer. It's something to consider. I was like, oh god, I've already spent so much flipping money. I want to do it myself. But honestly, whenever I published my second book, I'm probably going to pay someone because it sucked and there was constant errors. I ordered so many author copies. I would look and be like, there's just a blank fucking page here. And I don't know why, okay? It's not blank in the manuscript. I probably just fucked up the page count or something. And it was like, oh, there's a page here? I'll just put a blank page. And it's like lit, dude. Because you have to put it from a doc to a PDF and it fucks it up. Anyway, step 12, the cover. Find someone on Fiverr. Do some research. There are a ton of sites dedicated to getting you a nice, cheap cover for $100 or whatever. Personally, I really wanted a badass cover that flaunts my main character, so I paid, like $500. Okay, it's really important to me that I was, showing off this character that I love so much, and I thought was like the selling point of the book, because, visually he just looks cool, and I wanted that to be showed. I just want like a shotgun on the cover, But you do you. Get what works. If you can't afford that, you can get a cheap cover that will look nice and be enticing. Step 12, publish the book. So I published exclusively on Amazon, which essentially gets me extra royalties and puts me in KDP Select, which lets people with Prime read for free, and they pay me per page read, right? I have no experience with the other sites like BookBub or Drafted Digital or any of that. So do your research into those if you're looking to publish on places other than Amazon. Step 13, advertise, okay? This sucks. It takes a lot of work. You can go months at a time without seeing any results, but you have to stick to it. If you're on Amazon, try their advertisement program. It's simple, it's intuitive, it's relatively cheap, okay? Start a blog or a website or a YouTube channel. Wink, fucking wink, wink. That's it. In a broad sense, that's everything I did to publish my junk, okay? It was long, expensive, disheartening at times, but getting to have my story with my own love poured into it, available for people to buy and read, really made it worth it. I get to say that I'm an author and I published a book and I'm proud of it. You know, I've written better stuff since this, but this is my first book, and I'm proud of, you know, what I achieved, and I'm proud of the story it tells. Just stick with it. Write it. Have a consistent schedule. I know people have jobs, and it's tough, but even if it's just a half hour a day, just make sure that it never leaves your mind. That's all that matters. Because you can do it. If my fucking doofy ass can do it, then you can fucking do it.